I was in Baltimore on Tuesday, Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, 2 very good days. I saw a lot of old friends, especially as I started my career in sports business in that D.C., Maryland area. I'll say the two facilities in the downtown Baltimore Inner Harbor, they still serve as grand anchors of that downtown, Oriole Park and M&T Bank Stadium. I also visited the Ravens Under Armour Performance Center in Owings Mills, Maryland. Wow, what a spectacular, elite team facility, unlike any that I have seen. And this is your morning Buzzcast for Thursday, October 30th. I'm Abe Madkour. Let's start with college sports. These jobs as athletic directors are becoming more and more untenable due to the pressures to perform and the pressures from outsiders. All the stakes have been raised to win and win now. And like I said, there are a lot of cooks in the kitchen and so many power brokers who feel they should have a voice. Two examples today. The most high profile being in Louisiana, where the governor firmly stated he doesn't want athletic director Scott Woodward hiring the next football coach at LSU. Instead, he says an LSU Board of Supervisors will make the decision, and added the board would assemble a selection committee to find a new coach, but he said if he had his way, Scott Woodward would not be a part of any new hire. Now, the governor was very public and very direct in criticizing Woodward for previous deals, including the contract with Brian Kelly, who of course was fired earlier, and that included a deal which could leave LSU on the hook for a $54 million buyout that is still being negotiated. But to have a governor call out an athletic director, very, very rare. I am not defending Scott Woodward. He has had his share of critics, but he is seeing his authority and his role clearly undermined very publicly, as you have the leader of the state and others getting involved. And boy, first, what athletic director would want that situation? And two, which coach would be eager to get into that environment as well? So that's one example this morning. The second is at UCLA, where a group of former football players at UCLA sent a letter to the chancellor calling for embattled athletic director Martin Jarmon to be replaced to reestablish UCLA's commitment to excellence, as they put it. Now, the 64 players said they had concerns with the current direction of the athletic department under Jarmon's leadership. It's an extremely critical letter of Martin Jarmon, but the chancellor did come out in a statement saying the university will continue to stand behind its athletic director, who signed a contract extension in 2024. So these are just two examples, but they show how these are much more high-profile jobs. Being an athletic director today, the spotlight is more pronounced than ever to win. There are a lot of people who think they should have a say and think they know what the path forward is, and there's a lot of challenges to authority and decision-making. So these are very difficult jobs. I've said it time and again on the Buzzcast. I think an athletic director position, the toughest job in sports business today. Let's stay with college sports, because when SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey speaks, it matters. Trust me. Just a few days after Sankey urged the NCAA to pause or hold on its new policy, which allows college athletes and staff to bet on pro sports, the NCAA agreed. They will delay the effective date of this policy. The new policy was set to go in effect this coming Saturday. So allowing athletes and staff to bet on pro sports was signed off. It was ready to go. I believe we touched on it on the Buzzcast, but that was before the issues in the NBA and with the FBI. Sankey afterwards came out and urged the NCAA to put a pause on this. He felt strongly enough to suggest pumping the brakes, and that is exactly what the NCAA has decided to do. So they are pausing the decision, allowing college athletes and staff to bet on pro sports. Let's move on. Boy, what is going on in Dallas? The public relationship between the Dallas Stars and the Dallas Mavericks, it has gone south very quickly. Both teams suing each other over the terms of their agreements at American Airlines Center. You don't see this type of disagreement so public between two teams in the same city. And there's a lot at stake here, and there are a lot of storylines here. First, the Stars, they are considering a new arena in Plano, Texas, which would see them move out of the downtown area of Dallas for the first time in the team's history. For the past few months, the Stars have been talking to various communities outside of Dallas: Frisco, Arlington, Fort Worth. The team's lease at American Airlines Center ends after 2031, and the Stars, like most franchises, are looking to find enough land where they can have a 365, 24/7 live, work, and play environment. This also comes as we know the Mavericks have had their sights on a new basketball-only arena. They have been looking at different locations, and so the relationship between the two is obviously very tense. They share American Airlines Center right now, and they both moved into that venue when it opened in 2001, but the relationships now certainly not very healthy as both teams look to build their own arena in that marketplace. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. The NFL is off to a very strong start this season when it comes to viewership. Here are some specifics. CBS's NFL viewership in October was its best viewership for the NFL in 10 years. They are averaging the most viewers through 8 weeks. This is a high since 1998. Yes, these are the best numbers they are seeing since 1998. Amazing. NBC, its Sunday Night Football, so far is averaging its largest audience in 20 years. And yes, Fox is off to its best NFL viewership through 8 weeks, its best numbers in 10 years. So we're just seeing these massive viewership numbers. There are a couple of reasons for this. Of course, the NFL, extremely popular, but remember, Nielsen is measuring data and viewership differently. That has certainly added to the spike in numbers, but the bottom line, NFL off to an incredibly healthy start through 8 weeks of the regular season. Now, is it me? And I hate to say this, but there is very little buzz leading into NASCAR's championship weekend this coming weekend in Phoenix. The field is down to 4 drivers, 2 drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing, 2 from Hendrick Motorsports, Chase Briscoe, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Kyle Larson. But despite these 2 high-profile teams competing for the finals, I don't see a lot of attention around NASCAR's final weekend. And of course, it is difficult when one of the drivers who could win the championship is also suing NASCAR, the governing body, as Denny Hamlin, of course, is part of the long, drawn-out legal dispute with 2311 Racing and Front Row Motorsports suing NASCAR. It's clear NASCAR would like nothing more than to find a settlement with those 2 teams in time for Sunday's championship race. Our Adam Stern and others are reporting that NASCAR is working hard to wrap up a settlement deal before the championship weekend. NASCAR does not want to be in Phoenix for its most high-profile weekend of the sport outside of the Daytona 500 and have all the questions being focused on the dispute and the distrust within the sport. That would be a tough position to be in. So they're trying to get a resolution and a settlement. Here we are on Thursday, just a few days before NASCAR's championship weekend. And finally, we'll end the Buzzcast. 2 executive moves. First, at Genesco Sports Enterprises, Kit Geis, who has been at Genesco Sports for 25 years, has been promoted from Chief Client Officer to Chief Operating Officer. Kit Geis has been a leader in the consulting space for over 2 decades, and she has very strong relationships across sports. This promotion well-deserved. Meanwhile, Legends Global has hired a name many know in the business. Matt Goodman was named Senior Vice President of Business Development for Legends Global's Hospitality and Merchandise Division. So this will be in the premium hospitality and working with their concession, food and beverage and merchandise clients. Matt Goodman has been at the Dallas Mavericks, Live Golf, and NYCFC, well known in the sports space, now joining Legends Global. So my 3 takeaways from today's Buzzcast. Number 1, the athletic director position is the most challenging role in sports business, as you have so many stakeholders involved and so much new pressure to win. Takeaway number 2, the city of Dallas has turned into a contentious sports market as the Stars and Mavericks are suing each other, and both are looking at new arenas, which will raise the question of how many arenas are needed in one market. And my third takeaway, NASCAR continues to be impacted by the lack of big personalities and star power. And that's one of the reasons that the buzz around NASCAR's championship weekend has been pretty muted. And so that is your morning Buzzcast for Thursday, October 30th. I'm Abe Madkour. Thanks for listening. Stay healthy. Be good to each other. I'll speak to you tomorrow.